Welcome back, everybody, to PSGL's F11. This is the feature race. We had a small issue, but we'll be back underway for you very shortly. Looks like we're going to head straight into our race. Props and GG to Jamie for setting up a custom grid, new lobby, all the invites as quickly as he did. So please send your thanks to Jamie for that one. Much credit. I don't think I've seen a grid rebuild quite so quickly before. And welcome back to us, to our footage. I hope you managed to stay with us. I hope you've managed to get back to us safely. Like I say, we'll be underway. There's a little bit of questioning about whether we will be running a formation lap. I don't believe we will. I think for the purposes of saving time, we're going to start all even, and they should be on the same tyres and same setups with cloudy but dry race ahead of us. And I hope we're going to be underway for you very shortly. I see people joining us, and yeah, good to see everybody coming back. Say hello, make sure we know that you're back with us. And it'll be this one. That'd be important for you to like this video if you feel like it. If there's a moment available, I'll remind you again later in the coverage. But the countdown timer is on, asking for people asking for calm, and I hope everybody got their setups on as well, ready for this race around Suzuka. Great start from Yuki. Hopefully he'll be able to replicate that one. If not, look out for a good start. But we're underway. We've got the lights on. It's lights out, and away we go. Yamo with another good start. Matti likewise getting aggressive, and it's a Red Bull spinning round in the background to some contact. That was Ryan getting problems all the way through. A drive-through penalty for a severe collision from Jamie, unfortunately, right off the bat, and Yamo leads from Jim. Matti didn't get up as high as before, but in third place now with Giovi. Monster of a restart from Giovi there. Andreas in fifth. Yuki, no complaints, I don't think, to be in seventh after the S's, and they head towards Degner. I'm trying to get everything set up. It's just not possible when we don't have a formation lap to get you all set up and ready to go. But here we go, away with the grid. Enro getting by Jimmy Allen in the background, and there's Yuki making a dive into the hairpin, but Alex holding him off. That was adventurous. Yuki, again, the only car on medium tyres and driving pretty angry after having to give up the start he had before. He's so racy on the first lap, hyper aggressive. Calm down, Yuki. The race is 27 laps long. We certainly don't want to see you off. We want to see you completing this one, but there goes Roger around the outside of Jamie. Jamie having to serve a drive-through for this severe contact. I wonder if he had severe contact. Well, that seemed a little unnecessary to be fighting that when you've already got a penalty to pay. Roger getting overtaken by Enro in the background. Will Jamie have to pit now? Yes, he does. I'm not quite sure why he was fighting that quite so hard. And Yamo with the fastest lap immediately. Yuki up to sixth. So, like I said before, no real complaints from Yuki. He's made almost an exact replica start to what he made on the previous attempt. Giovi looking close behind Andreas here in fourth place. Sorry, he's got by Andreas. He's actually chasing Matti now. Very, very close indeed. 2/10, and he'll be looking very strong towards the hairpin if he can hold the car together through the Degner 2. Nice and steady through there. So Matti will have to go a little bit defensive, wary of the positioning of Giovi, who's actually waiting patiently for a better moment. And a yellow flag through the Degner sector. Possibly that was that Andreas slow. He's dropped down. Yuki's down to 9th. I'm not quite sure what occurred with Yuki. Down to 9th again now. And let's hope for no damage on that car, because he's looked so strong in these early laps of both attempts at the race. Jimmy Allen 2/10 behind Alex next as they go towards 130R. We'll need an extra few degrees of steering as he goes through here. Alex goes defensive on the inside, tries to squeeze Jimmy Allen on the outside. Jimmy not having any of it, gives as good as he gets. but doesn't quite manage to make the pass. But he'll be strong through here with a slightly better exit line. Fastest laps being triggered by everybody. Jimmy Allen now 1.5 tenths behind Alex. It's the closest battle on track, but there's plenty of them. There's a big sideways moment as Jimmy Allen struggles in the wake while using the trail braking through turn 1 on the approach to turn 2, and all sideways through there. That probably looked very good from outside the car, as it did in it. Yuki upset with Andreas, already calling him out and having to pit. I'm assuming he's gone for hard tyres, but I'm assuming some damage. So the strategy not working out, and doesn't Jimmy Allen look ragged around Suzuka right now, pushing really hard and under a lot of pressure now from Enro. He's not able to push quite so much on the car ahead. Ahmed has lost his front wing coming out of the S's and can't quite get through the Degner turns there, so not a stellar evening so far for Ahmed. But Enro close behind Jimmy Allen, who is close behind Alex in turn. At the front of the field, Yamo is alternating in and out of the DRS trigger point for the car behind Jim. So Yamo leading by around a second. Likewise Jim from Matty. Jovi is a lot closer though, but this is a three-way battle for 5th place. And here comes Jovi getting by Matty on the start-finish straight. That will be DRS assisted, of course. And they're going through to turn 1 and 2, and you can see the 4 leaders making a group of their own in this early section of the race. But still, we go back to the battle for 5th, led by Jimmy Allen. Alex is in the middle of him and Enro, and they will tackle the S's. Line astern. It's very difficult through here to follow another car closely. Braking down into Degner 1. There's an opportunity to catch, but really attacking those curbs violently through there goes Enro, and dropping back slightly from the car ahead. Ahmed's in the pits, getting that front wing damage sorted. Yuki's on hard tyres to see him through, maybe an attempt to get to the end of the race. He's not happy. He's not happy in that Ferrari. Alex in 6th now, close to Jimmy Allen. Jovi again looking great when it comes to the race. He's got past Matty. Just a 3-second penalty as we lose Jamie and Andreas on the same couple of seconds. Let's see what happened there from the perspective of Roger. Look left, there's 2 cars off. That must be contact to see them both DNF on the same stretch, and that's going to obviously promote the cars behind. Ryan getting all over the place on the entry into Spoon, possibly distracted slightly or offline as he was rubbernecking past the accident of Jamie and Andreas. So yeah, well, I'll wait to, if I can read out a comment from the drivers, I will do. Ahmed promoted to 11th as he gets past. Yeah, Jamie and Yuki both unhappy with Andreas, so expect some stewards reports. We're down to 11 runners, and of course the predictable safety car after a double DNF on lap 5. This will open up an opportunity for pit stop for the drivers. Heidegg here in Suzuka. 4 laps on the softs, I think will be about an appropriate time to head on in to the pits. Jamie claiming that Andreas drove into the side of him. Andreas making the reverse claim, of course. So Jamie said he actually flipped the car, so that would be good to see. Got some footage on that one. Yamo in first position. We'll be waiting to see if he pits. Not an ideal point, but possibly a convenient moment to head on into the pits. Yeah, he does so. In he comes then. Jim doing likewise, just missing that bollard. Matty in. Jimmy Allen also, he's actually holding up the driver behind. because he knows that well, he's not holding him up much, but he's not rushing to the pits because he knows he's got his teammate pitting ahead of him. Enro and Alex go into the pits. Will Jimmy Allen be held up a long time? Let's go and see if he's stacked. No, nothing too inconvenient. Apparently there's a massive bump on the way out of the pits. Looks like it's almost concrete steps coming out of the pit lane. So in fairness to Andres, he is claiming that he spun. That's why he made contact with Jamie. Of course, we didn't get to see the incident, so I can't make a judgment of any sort there, but it's just, unfortunately, perils of racing. Hopefully we'll be able to see a clip later in the week. If we get a steward's determination, I'll of course let you know in the next race. Dynamic says only watcher. Oh, there are 12 watchers, Dynamic, so I think they're just not commenting right now. Let Dynamic know he's not alone, please. Yarmo in the lead of the race on lap 6 from Jim and Jovi, then Matty, Jimmy Allen, Alex, Enro, Ryan in 8th place on slightly older medium tyres, then Yuki in 9th, Roger in 10th, and Ahmed at the back of the grid. I want to have a quick look at the drivers' stops. 2 stops for Roger and Ahmed. In terms of position change, quite a dramatic one. 5 positions up for Jovi, Jimmy Allen and Enro, and 5 down for Roger. Quite an interesting alternating. Yuki, I think, has looked back at the footage and is retracting earlier statements. He's not quite so angry with Andreas anymore after his spin. So all good in the Discord, certainly for the Yuki Andreas accident. Whether I'm sure Jamie will be furiously looking at his footage, see what's going on. Lots of weaving on the start-finish straight. I hope our guys are going to be careful not to run into each other. It's treacherous out there under the safety car conditions, and the penalties are severe. Usually for being hit is when you get the worst penalties in the game. 11 drivers will tackle the remaining 20 laps of our Suzuka race. Field not quite condensed just yet, but it looks like Ahmed catching the pack steadily. Hey to Senna, Senna's back, joining in to see this PSGL event. Good to have you with us, Senna. Just got a moment here for anyone watching to get out of the live chat, press the like button and come back and see us. Tell us that you've liked it, and who are you supporting in the chat? Are you here for Yarmo? Everybody asks, where's Yarmo? They often spell it wrong, but I know what they mean. Lots of fans for Yarmo here. Oh, Senna's just won his league race. Well, congrats to you, Senna. Good stuff. And if you've managed to avoid further broken bones recently, that probably helps your racing no end. So it looks like the full field is behind the safety car, so hopefully we'll be underway for you very shortly. In terms of tyres, Jim, interestingly, put hard tyres on to try and one-stop this one. So did Jimmy Allen. Yuki did so on, I think, like lap 4 or 3. And Ahmed also on the hard tyres. Everybody else on mediums. Mediums, I have doubts, will be a strong tyre right to the end. They could get it to the end if we have more stoppages, but I doubt they'll be able to be quick for 20 laps. The hard tyre will just guarantee you're not quick as well, so it's a bit of a 50-50 situation. Yarmo will be the restarter as Jovi gets very close to crashing into both Jim and Yarmo. Jovi and Jim with a good getaway. Jim hogging that inside line, protecting from from Jovi. What's happening further back? Oh, Jimmy Allen up the inside of Matty. Matty, will he hold on into the next part of the S's? No, he doesn't. So Jimmy getting a place up for a successful point in the race for Alfa Romeo. Second and fourth right now. Yuki still with a penalty to serve and will need to do a stronger recovery drive. Of course, he's quick on restarts and starts, so very much one to watch as we go through the Degners. Lots of very tight gaps for the drivers here. Anybody launching one into the hairpin? Well, no, Yuki just ramming Enro into the hairpin. That was a little bit cheeky. A bump and run potentially. A little bit of contact on the way through this right-hander as they head towards Spoon. Yuki and Enro coming together yet again. This one's starting to get a little bit nasty. You've got to feel that Yuki is potentially quite upset tonight, driving fairly angry, and might have been taking it out on Enro a little bit, his frustration with Andreas earlier in the race. Jimmy Allen very close on the way into the chicane, Casio triangle so called, and not quite able to make a move through there. What's Ryan up to? Is he able to overlap? He gets underneath Enro, coming out of the chicane down the start-finish straight. Ryan with the optimal outside line, but loses out on the way in just a little bit. Perhaps that's that lack of ABS practice heading on in, and the trail braking that ABS allows you to do much more easily into turn one. I'll have to try and that would be my guess anyway. Yuki though up to 6th and looking at 5th place hungrily at the moment into the Degner 1. Yuki's very quick in here, perhaps just making a nuisance of himself in the mirrors, and will he ram another car in the hairpin? Oh, Enro almost giving one back, running right round the outside. That just opens the door for Ryan, though Enro with the elbows out on Ryan this time, determined not to lose another place. And we've got nose to tail running from 4th all the way down to 10th at the moment. It's hard to know where to look for you. Here comes Ryan though, trying to get one by on Enro, but he's stuck on the outside. He's had to lift just to navigate 130R safely, and no one quite close enough without DRS to get anybody into the chicane. Jovi with the current fastest lap on lap 10. Again, cars very close to one another. Roger trying to make a move here on Ryan. Ryan's going backwards slightly here. Enro getting it wrong into turn 1, going the long way around on the outside with dirty tyres now. Will be slow through the S's, and that could be problematic for him, but it's very difficult to do anything other than single file driving, as we see Jim making a mistake in the S's, dropping down the order, and down he goes. Possibly his new hard tyres not doing great. Flying Dutch Roger out of the race, and that looks to be possibly the recovery of Ryan catching Roger out, and we have a yellow flag as he's stranded on the outside of the final part of the S's. Double waved yellows there into sector 1 and 2. Now it's a yellow in sector 1. Will we manage to get by without a safety car? I hope so, because we've only just seen one. Yamo with the lead on lap 10 from Jovi, but Jovi is in DRS range, and DRS is enabled now, so should be using it. Jimmy Allen in 3rd place, fast charging Matty behind him, and Enro hanging on to 5th. We're down to 9 runners, unfortunately, as Ryan gets past Enro into the chicane. Nice move from Ryan, and hopefully he'll be hoping to dispatch with Enro and stop having to look in his mirrors. A weave from Ryan. It's legitimate to do one, I guess, as long as you're not blocking the car behind. And again, getting it wrong into turn 1, really struggling to get the brakes down. His tyres are a little bit older, but I don't think they're sufficiently old to be causing an issue. Enro is fighting softs versus older mediums at this stage, We haven't seen the softs running more than 5 laps on this race, but of course that convenient safety car muddied the waters somewhat. Yuki's gone in the pits for new mediums, potentially looking to pit to the end and off plan from the rest of them, but he's a long way back at the back of the field. I wonder if he had some form of damage, because that doesn't appear to be the optimal strategy. Enro up the inside of the hairpin, but they go side by side, relatively friendly, but no, I'll retract that. It was a little bit more of elbows out racing from Enro. Yes, he's got better tyres, but that should mean he's better out of the corners and can get by on DRS. Doesn't need to risk contact, doesn't need to risk race-ending contact between himself and Ryan. So, down the backstretch they go again, Ryan getting by with a better exit from Spoon. And they'll go through safely the chicane for the 12th time. We see Yamo now with Jovi right behind, and this one is a battle for the lead, as we have a camera angle looking at a car park, but we're back looking at the racetrack now. Some drivers writing essays on explanations of incidents in Discord. I haven't got time to read them. I can do short things. I've got Jimmy Allen with a mistake or an issue going through the S's again, dropping down a couple of places. That promotes Ryan up to P4 with Emro in 5th. But let's focus on the battle for the lead right now. That's the closest drivers together. Jovi just getting a slide on the way out of the hairpin. Very easily done. It's a very, very difficult corner to get right time after time. And through Spoon, using a wide angle, looking for good exit speed out of here. So Jovi then, not a decent really DRS zone on this track. The straights are relatively short with fast turns at the end of them, or in the middle of them if you count the backstretch. And yeah, it's very hard to action and overtake down the start-finish straight. Here comes Jovi though, fastest lap, DRS open now, and catching Yamo, but he'll just need to put the pressure on Yamo, who goes wide. Maybe that's his line though. It looked actually a little bit quicker through turn 1 for Yamo. We'll ride with Jovi and see how the car's behaving through the S's, where it gets very, very difficult. Yeah, Roger was caught up in the incident with Jim. Jim potentially trying to recover the car, and as we know, it's very hard to get the car back under control after being off. Jovi flirting with a warning there. I know it's easily got a warning on the curb section between Degner 1 and 2. Slightly off ideal line trip through the hairpin. He's obviously pushing hard, trying to make the most of it. The car's still pretty fat with fuel and difficult to handle as the grip drops on the tyres lap by lap. Yamo gets a penalty. That's a big deal for the race. Yamo with a 3-second penalty and Jovi only 7 tenths behind. But these two drivers absolutely driving away from Matty at this point. Much faster. Jimmy Allen gets a penalty as well. Jim is currently in 7th. Both Ferraris at the back of the grid, but the back of the grid should fetch 5 points tonight, so not bad. Yamo crossed up through the chicane, and this gives a great run to Jovi, who you can see get a great slipstream over speed under DRS, takes a wide line entry into turn 1. That forces Yamo to get past just as he's braking and turning, and loses the aero. It's like someone is out there pushing against the front tyre to the outside of the track when that happens, and very difficult to hold on. But the runoff's just saving him on the exit of turn 1. Jovi takes the lead on lap 14 on the approach to turn 1, and Yamo staying with him though, half a second behind. Again, another fastest sector for Jovi, who's driving the wheels off this Alfa Romeo at the moment. We'll see how that works out at the end of the stint. But it's Jimmy Allen actually looking on hard tyres, looking like he's starting to catch Enro, whose soft tyres are well past their best. and we'll be looking to get rid of them at the next available opportunity. Enro. Yuki's still a long way back after making that extra pit stop. I think he must have had damage to be that far away from Ahmed. Yuki will not be happy tonight unless something dramatic happens to change his race. Yamo slipping back now. He's still within DRS range, so we'll have a look. Well, I'll keep my eye on him. But Jimmy Allen looking like the closest car to attacking as they go down the backstretch through 130R. You can get a great tow if you can stay with the car in front here. Will he launch one into the chicane? No, but he's so good on the brakes. He should, that means, be good on exit of the corners, but unfortunately he lost it. Managed to keep the car going. It looks like Enro had the same issue. Both of them struggling out of the chicane. DRS for Jimmy, and gets by into P5 on the hard tyres. The car really coming alive for him now, and whatever the Alfa Romeo mechanics have done tonight in Parc Fermé or beforehand is working beautifully, because both of them running great guns at the moment. First and fifth for Alfa Romeo. The rest of the teams are represented by a single car, except for Ferrari at the back of the grid tonight. Gap just opening up between Jovi and Yamo, but Ryan, next one on the attack. Here he is in fourth place now, and if he could debut in the league with a podium, I'm sure he'd be very, very happy indeed. I'll just have a quick look at places gained. Jovi up 7 places into the lead of our race right now. Really loving life on these medium tyres, as is Jimmy Allen on the hards, but going really well at the moment. Yamo with a 3-second penalty, but a 9-second gap to the car behind, so I'm sure he wants the win, but shouldn't be too difficult to get second place tonight. Here's Matty in third place, with Ryan behind. Matty on the newer tyres, but Ryan's just got a little bit better speed overall. Just making sure that he's been seen by the car ahead. I think Ryan really getting into a rhythm now into turn 1. It seemed to be struggling earlier, but yeah, confident now, braking without ABS into turn 1 and 2. Riding on board with him. Special design helmet he's got. Lots of entry curb on Degner 1 for Ryan. Manages to keep the car stable, but it's going to hurt his tyre wear, and they're already 13 laps old. I think he'll be wanting to try and get this car through to lap 20-21 on the mediums before putting softs on for the end of the race. Whether the 3 cars ahead of him are trying to get to the end, we'll have to wait and see. Like I say before, those mediums won't be in a good state at the end of the race. We're looking for an opportunity to pit cheaply under a caution period. I think the driver's just now starting to catch Yamo. He's obviously made a mistake, because he was 9 seconds ahead of Matty. That's now down to 7, and he's dropped down to 4 seconds behind Jovi. So Yamo really struggling on these tyres. He's gone into the pits, in fact. Will this be for a new set of mediums to see the race out? Oh, in comes Ryan actually here. Ryan, likewise, I'm sure, will be on to... Is he going for softs? He is going for softs. 10 laps is his intention to run on these soft tyres. So that's a little bit brave. Enro's made it. The car will be getting better and better with the less fuel. Out of the pits comes Yamo, now behind Ahmed, who's up to 5th place on hard tyres. Those hard tyres should, in theory, get the cars to the end, but you've got to imagine Yamo's going to breeze on by and potentially try and get an undercut. It goes right round the outside of the S's and that's the difference in grip made real for you right there on track. Nice move. Ryan down to 7th after the pit stop. Enro behind him, further 5 seconds back. But if Ryan can run without penalties, he should gain from the cars ahead. Those hard runners are running slowly right now, It might make a difference at the end of the race with their full race time. But Jovi still in the lead. 10 lap on mediums on the car. This is a good time to pit for softs, it seems. Maybe another lap will help you go very aggressive. They've got good gaps to the rest of the field. Talking about gaps, it's really opened up here for us on the race. Who haven't we watched riding with for a while? I think we could see how Yuki's getting on at the back of the grid. He's 27 seconds, an entire pit stop away from the nearest car, P9 at the moment, but he's gamely hanging on for points at the end of the race, which obviously will make a difference in the championship when things work their way out, and should be important for next season's promotions, demotions and stability. Those drivers staying in F11 as well, keeping their place. I don't know if they'll need to sign up again or race and season performance will be taken into account. This obviously the first season of this game's cycle. So let's ride with Jim for a little bit, see how he's faring, how he's using the car. I'll try and give everybody a little bit of screen time if possible. Jim with that issue through the S's earlier on in the race, dropping down and somehow causing the retirement of Roger, who was not happy about it, as you can appreciate, but recovering the car up to P4 at the moment, and we'll see what his lap times are looking like shortly. Jovi now currently with a 12-second lead off the second place driver who's on the same strategy as him. But remember, Jarmo is going quickly behind Jim here, and will be able to action and undercut if Jovi decides to pit again. But Jarmo, there he is, fastest lap, a 1:30.604. Jarmo with a penalty, so his undercut could well help him pay for his penalty, but I don't think it's going to get him the win in the end. I'm not sure. I can't be 100% certain that Jovi and Matty will pit again. I suspect they will, but I also suspect that Jimmy Allen and Jim, who gets by Jimmy Allen, who must have had an accident and an issue. Yes, Jimmy Allen tumbling down the order. Can we see from Ahmed where he is and whether he has picked up the pace? No, struggling through Degner is Jimmy. So Jimmy down to 5th place. Has he actually disconnected? Looks like he's ghosting. Jimmy can't get the car round. Has he damaged the vehicle? He must have got some form of damage because he cannot get this car turned around and smashes into the tyre wall. Reset to track for Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy, but we caught that one on stream. That's not allowed, and someone will report that, and I'm sure this could cause a moving chicane for the rest of the field. Jimmy Allen down, and Alfa Romeo were enjoying a great run of form. Jarmo, though, on the back of Jim, gets down into the chicane and just walks past Jim's Aston Martin effectively on that difference in tyre. New softs against old hards. Just no contest, frankly, from Jarmo. So, as I mentioned, who haven't we seen much of? We haven't seen Yuki for a little bit. Let's ride with him while I keep an eye on the other gaps. A 5-second penalty for corner cutting from Jimmy Allen. I guess he's heading to the pits and a retirement. Speeding into the pit lane and a retirement. There he goes in the pit lane. He's done the right thing at least. Yeah, driving hot under the collar and not impressed with himself or the game, I guess. Performance of his Alfa Romeo out of the hairpin, and out of the race goes Jimmy Allen on lap 19. Well, lap 18 for him, I suppose. Yuki promoted to 8th then, 27 seconds back from the car in front, and Ryan has caught Ahmed at a rate of knots again, just like Jarmo on the soft tyres, and hoping to try and maximise the result at the end of this race. Jovi and Matty looking more and more likely that they're going to hang on to the medium tyres to the end. We will wait and see on that front. Running a one-stop potentially, Jovi and Matty, but Jarmo and Ryan are going to be quick on these new soft tyres. to the end of the race. We've got 6 laps to run, and I still feel like it's anyone's for the final podium positions. Jarmo in 3rd at the moment, having gapped Jim sufficiently in 1 lap to pay for the penalty, and it's all about whether the front 2 decide to pit now. Ryan good on out of the chicane, getting DRS and getting by the Ferrari of Ahmed fairly easily. Ryan up to P5 now, racing without a penalty, and he could potentially try and poach a position off Jarmo if he can keep the car going cleanly. Jim in 4th place. Jovi is your leader on lap 21 by 15 seconds from Matty, and the only thing that can stop Jovi now is a mistake by himself, or maybe a safety car maybe running out of fuel, but really it's in his own hands whether he wins this race. I don't think anyone's catching him. The closest drivers are the one that has just passed another Ryan and Ahmed. Let's ride with Emro and see how he's getting on. He's spent nearly all of his ERS and getting the car down into that famous hairpin. I think they should name that one it's not Nakajima, is it? Who was the driver who dived down there frequently? Japanese driver who passed loads of drivers into that hairpin. Enro's still spending away on his ERS, actually spending right to the end of the battery life. It's going to really struggle to recover the energy from here. Ryan catching Jim at the moment. Jarmo, his gap down to 3 seconds to Matty ahead. Matty is obviously slow on these old mediums. I think Jarmo has got a way to go before he fully catches up with his previous best. I'm just hoping to catch a driver have a dramatic moment maybe as we finish up this race with 5 laps to run. Stay tuned though, because we see, as the tyres die off, we see tragic mistakes from drivers frequently in league racing, just overdriving the available grip. Very easily done. We've got 8 cars finishing this race so far, and I hope we can get all 8 of them to the finish. Thank you for enjoying the race with us. Please like the video. Please feel free to follow me at WebORed5 on Twitter, where I post all my streams, and make sure you've subscribed to the PSGL channel and set a date to join us each Sunday night on F11. We've got 4 races after this one left in the championship, and still could be anybody's. Jarmo then putting in the fast laps. You can see his next target ahead of him. I think he'll be happy if he can get himself up to P2. It seems to be about the optimum result for him tonight, but he's going to have to get by Matty and then put 3 seconds on him. So not an easy job. The gap dropping sufficiently at the moment, but it's just how much of a chore does he make it getting by Matty. Depends where he catches him on track. Through Degner 2, Jarmo catching, should be within DRS by the time they get down to the Casio Triangle. And away, out of the hairpin. Nice line from Jarmo there. Lots of grip, lots of mid-corner speed difference. I've got Ryan catching Jim. Ryan, as I said before, was running up in the podium positions before that pit stop for the soft tyres, but Matty and Jovi obviously trying to run a long one here into the final sector of the race. 3 to go on these medium tyres, so it will be 20 laps they try and achieve. Jarmo getting very close now into the DRS detection area, and should make light work of Matty, who takes the inside line. Here comes Jarmo then, sweeping around the outside, nice and easily done. Should make light work of this one as he goes into turn 1 safely with that overspeed. Always a hold your breath moment. and into second place. Now his target is to get 3 seconds on Matty, but Ryan is closing on Jim. Very impressive debut here from Ryan, with especially turning off ABS. You could almost see him improving through turn 1 lap after lap as he got that more experience, feel for the brakes, and hopefully he doesn't go back to ABS, and he's pleased enough with his performance tonight. Oh, Ryan, a penalty just skipping over the curb on Degner 1, and that's really going to hamper him. So now he's got the same target as Jarmo, got to get by Jim and then put 3 seconds on him. Should be a little bit easier with Jim, who's, well, no, it shouldn't actually, because Jim's 17-lap-old hards should live longer than Matty's 17-lap-old mediums. Keep your eyes peeled, everybody, for late race drama from the drivers on old tyres. Ryan's right up there, though. 4 tenths, 3.5, 3, 2.5, as he catches the toe down the backstretch. Actually, Jim's got slightly better top speed, so Ryan obviously deploying a lot of downforce and just happy to get super close into the chicane, concentrate on a good exit and press that DRS button. Away we go. We're actually using the ERS as well. DRS deployed. Jim with a violent moves round the outside. That looks a little bit dodgy, and yet away from Ryan on the way through into turn 1. That was unnecessary from Jim with that violent weave. That would not needs looking at by the stewards from both angles, frankly. But Ryan into P4, so his target is to put 3 seconds on Jim now, and Matty has, Jarmo's almost done exactly the same, exactly the right thing, and put that time on to Matty, but he's not really closing in on Jovi very much. So that's certainly interesting to see. Ryan with the fastest first sector, using the DRS there, even despite getting those troubles going past Jim. So Ryan has got that 1 second, so he's now got to do a second a lap to see off the challenge of Jim for 4th place in this race tonight. Jarmo hasn't quite made it, as the soft tyres now starting to drop off lap 7, and I don't think we've seen 10 strong laps from the drivers on soft tyres around here. Jovi in a race of his own, frankly, tonight, 17 seconds faster than the next car, 19, nearly 20 seconds faster than the next car on the same strategy. It's really, really special from him tonight. Ryan cannot see off Jim easily here. Jim was obviously aware of the fact. Is Jim going to make a late dive? He looked like he was just trying to surprise Ryan into turn 1. So this one's definitely going to be the battle to watch to the end of the race, because Ryan can't seem to get the gap he needs. Let's check out the penalty situation. It's just 3 each for Jarmo, Ryan, Ahmed, Enro and Yuki. So the ones that really matter are Jarmo and Ryan, because they will make a difference to the car behind them. So Ryan now a 1 second gap, but it's not enough at this stage, and he's, I think, catching Matty, but he's not going to get by him before the end of the race unless we get a puncture. So let's just remind ourselves the tyre life situation. Jovi and Matty trying to get 20 laps out of the medium tyre, and the late stop, recent stop for Jovi and Matty. I think Yuki is going to try and do a fastest lap run. Might be worth a watch, maybe. Let's go and watch Yuki, because we haven't given him a lot of screen time just yet. Yuki will check out his sector times, because this is it really, final lap opportunity for him. We've got, I think he's about to be lapped, so it's Jovi just behind him on track. So we'll stay with Yuki for a little bit. Yeah, purple first sector, needs to keep it clean. He's got 56% battery, so on he goes. He won't be able to save a lap of the race by letting the leader by, because that will spoil his fastest lap. So it's yeah, not ideal for him. Jarmo comfortably past Matty now, including the penalty. Ryan's got 1.9 seconds on Jim. Maybe those hard tyres are starting to go off, so we'll keep watching. Let's see if Ryan can hold off Jim at the end, but a 4th or a 5th place finish will be no mean feat at all. Yuki on this bid for fastest lap is a second faster than he's been before through here. Another purple sector, so a good chicane, good exit, and well, that almost invalidated that one. Yuki with a bid for the fastest lap. Let's see what he can do. Will he collect it? Yes, he does on the final lap. Jovi though, Jovi it is who will cross the line, take the win in Japan by a long margin. Terrific race from Jovi. Congratulations to him for winning round 11 in Japan. GG to Jovi. Gio in the Alfa Romeo gets the job done, and Jarmo comes home 17 seconds behind, but successfully in 2nd place after a very interesting, hard-fought race. Matti in 3rd place. Ryan in just loses out 4th place by 3.5 tenths. Jim gets the 4th place on our race. Congratulations to Jim. Ryan in 5th. Ahmed, strong finish for Ahmed in 6th place given the start. Then Enro in 7th, and we've already seen Yuki cross the line getting the fastest lap. I believe he held on to it. Let's check it out. Yes, he did. So Yuki with extra points at the end here. Congratulations to our survivors of the Japanese Grand Prix. Frankly, it was obviously not an easy thing to do. Yuki fastest lap, but all the props and respect go to Jovi, who was just very special tonight. Congratulations to him. Jarmo says Jovi eliminated him in the hairpin. Well, you can try and get a report. I know you're familiar with the reporting mechanism in PSGL, and that's quite available to you. But Jovi with a terrific drive, even with an asterisk next to his name, and with a potential time penalty. I don't think anything's going to get away from that win. He was so far and away faster than everybody else, and he came from so far back on the grid. Congratulations to Jovi, who takes the win. Jarmo, I hope you can be happy with 2nd, because it was a strong race nonetheless. And there is Matti, who takes home the 3rd place trophy for Alpine. So there we have the Italian Jovi in the Alfa Romeo winning the race. Then from 8th on the grid, Jarmo 2nd to 2nd, sees a 2nd place trophy. Ryan pleased with that performance, and so he should be. Shame you couldn't hold off Jim right at the end, but some slightly questionable tactics from Jim in defence. Matti, bit of a quiet race. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at Matti, but he got 3rd place from 3rd on the grid. And then Jim dropping to 4th after a stunning pole position. Ryan 7th to 5th with a 2-stop strategy. Ahmed 13th to 6th place. Enro 12th to 7th. Yuki 11th to 8th with the fastest lap. And then unfortunately we lost Jimmy Allen, Roger, Alex, Jamie and Andreas earlier in the race, who featured strongly in qualifying. Good stuff from everybody. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the race tonight. Please make sure you like the video. On your way out of the session, please make sure that you've followed, subscribed to PSGL, followed me on Twitter at WebberRed5. And guys, it's been a pleasure, and I will catch you on the next race day.